Welcome everybody. Great pleasure to have you guys all here. It's my pleasure to introduce you to Wolfgang, who's with BAWAG for a long time already, since '83. That gave us a little bit the chance to chat about how things have evolved over time. WU was at that time still located at the old place in Währing, which I guess that you guys do not know anymore. So things has changed there. Wirtschaftsuniversität, information systems was introduced at WU in '78. So Wolfgang already had the chance to benefit from some of the courses back then. Apparently it worked fruitfully for his career since he's now the CIO of BAWAG. I would leave it with this from my side. Great pleasure for Wolfgang to share his insight with us and having a lively discussion. So you're all invited to bring in your views and your questions and your comments. So explicitly encourages us to engage and also maybe provoke. Let's see. And I also want to thank BTO for supporting us with this event again. Thanks a lot for being with us in these event series. Having said that, the floor is yours. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you for hosting me. Okay, does it work? Yeah, okay. Okay, my name is Wolfgang Hanzl. I'm the CEO of BAWAG PSK, and as he mentioned, I'm very long in this bank. I started in 1983 in BAWAG. And I just want to, some highlights. I was responsible for, I started in the organizational department by accident. One of the highlights was I was the project manager for the purchase of PSK, and then I was responsible for the post-merger integration and also for the merger of the two core banking systems. That was a 4-year project. We migrated from 2 different systems in a third new one. Yeah, then I became CEO after that because my boss said at this time, he said, if you said it's a good system now, what you developed, and then run it, please, yeah. And yeah, but that was good. And then I was 2 years. I said, okay, I will do it for 2 years, and then I became head of ops. The whole operation of the bank. There were about 800 people. I was 7 years there. Now we have 150 people. But it's because of process improvements and of changing of the world. Yeah? And I was also COO at EasyBank. But as I became CIO, you cannot do both. That's from too time consuming, and you have to decide for one, and I think it's more fun to be CIO than to be CEO of the EasyBank, but that's my private opinion. Okay, some words about BAWAG PSK. BAWAG PSK is the 4th largest bank in Austria. We went public at October 25th last year. That was the worldwide largest going public since the last 10 years. Yeah, worldwide. The majority owners are still 2 private equity funds, Cerberus and Golden Tree. From our point of view, we are the one and only Austrian bank, even if we are owned by Americans, because 80% of our revenues, 80% of our profit is done in Austria. If you compare it to other banks, it's 80% or more from Eastern countries, Eastern Europe countries or something else. Our balance sheet is 45 billion. Last year we had a profit by 500 plus. That's, for example, in comparison to Erste Bank, they need, I guess, 5-6 times more balance sheet to generate double profit like BAWAG PSK. We're very proud of that. We have a cost-income ratio of 43.7. That's not so bad. Yeah? If our competitors in Austria, they are starting in the 60s. Yeah, that's it. We have, since we are very, I know everybody in the, we talked before, if you say you came from BAWAG, such a conservative bank, and what shall I do with BAWAG? Yeah? Maybe somebody knows Easy Bank, I'm sure. Who knows Easy Bank? Okay. No. Okay, by the way, that's the same technology, everything is the same, yeah? It's just a different marketing, yeah? And we have, since 5 years, 6 years, we have the same strategy. It's easy, 4 points. The one is grow in our core business, core markets, organically and inorganically. What our core business is Austrian retail, Germany and Switzerland, the DACH region. First. Second, make the life of our customer easier. The third, efficiency. You can, you all study economy, you can only win if you have, you can only win in reducing costs. That's for a bank in this economic environment, the cost is the most important factor. And the fourth one is risk averse. We don't speculate. We don't want to have high risk. That's our 4 pillars. 4 pillars since for 5, 6 years. We didn't change it. That's the way we are going in the future. And that's one. And our CEO, he mentioned it by each press conference. We want to become a digital company. We want to become a digital company. And you can say, okay, what does it mean? And maybe I will, and if it's possible, I don't know if it's possible, if you have a question, you don't need to wait till the end and then you have forgotten it. Maybe we can do it interactive. I will touch a lot of different points. Maybe some are interesting for you, some less interesting. But if you have questions, please don't hesitate, ask it, and let's start a discussion. I won't read all this, but who is the predator? Who is the prey? In 2015, Nigel Fenwick said it. I just want to. That's a normal bank in Austria. A normal bank in Austria has legacy systems. You have to, if you want to deploy a new product or something else, you need to know it 1 year before. You have your release cycles, everything. That's really impressive. Yeah? What are the dynamics? I guess there are from our 5 drivers. The macroeconomic conditions, I always said we have the lowest interest curve over the last 10 years. Yeah, no change in sight. Changing customer behavior and expectations. A lot of you are digital natives. That makes the difference. Yeah, that's a very interesting situation. The older people are growing, the segment of the older people, that at the end of the day we have digital natives, and on the other hand we have 30% of the people, are older people, are retired people in the future. Yeah? That's a macroeconomic challenge, a pension system and everything, but it's also very important for us as a bank. New competitive forces, Google, Apple, N26. N26, that's very easy for N26 to do this because it's a greenfield operations. They don't have any legacy. They didn't have customers. It's just let's do it. Yeah, how it really. Maybe every bank in Europe would do the same, without legacy. Digitalization. We need to digitalize all processes. Yeah. If you want to offer everything multi-channel, you need to have one process. In which status are we far away to have this? Yeah, but that's our goal. And regulation, there are a ton of regulations, tons of regulations. Yeah, but we don't argue it, because at the end of the day, it is like it is, and we have to be compliant. Yeah, I can say, that's a bullshit. Yeah, fine, but I cannot change it. Yeah, and therefore we can, for PSD2, we can really use it as a lever to create more business. Yeah, that's not only negative. From our perspective, the 5 really success factors start with the customer experience. For you, it's important. I always bring the example of Uber. Uber is really a seamless. Who used Uber? But that's customer experience, huh? And we as banks are miles away from this experience. Yeah, you can see. You know what it costs. You can see on the app when the car will come. You know the name, the brand of the car. You have the bill before you enter the car. Yeah, and the one and only is the customer experience. How does the car look like? How is the driver? That can be different, but that's customer experience. That's really customer experience. And we have a lot, as banks, we have a lot of breaches in the medium. Yeah? It's paper, then it's electronic, then it's paper. Sometimes, of course, the reason is that the legal, the law says we have to sign it and so on. But that will be solved. Yeah? Bürgerkarte or Handysignatur or whatever. Omnichannel delivery, also said, no, if you do something on mobile phone in our app and you go to the branch afterwards, you will be disappointed that the branch employee doesn't know what you did on mobile. Or? That's the direction we have to go. Think ecosystem, always the end-to-end, wing-to-wing. And for us, it's important to own the customer. We don't need necessarily to do everything by ourselves, yeah? But we have to own the customer. The interface is the customer. Digital banking revolution. How customers interact with the bank. As I said, omnichannel, higher bar for service. Of course, that's because you can do it everywhere. It's not so easy to service you right. Social engagement, mobile first. I always tell the story that if you look at the cell phone, 30 years ago, the majority of you was not born, but I had a girlfriend and there was no mobile phone, nothing. And we agreed on a date on Saturday, 1 week before, with one call on the fixed line. And we met. Saturday, 6 o'clock p.m. Today, I would have used WhatsApp, text message, and would have done 4 calls. I'm not here. Where are you? Yeah, and then maybe we will miss. We wouldn't meet us. Yeah, and that's a significant change. Yeah, and I didn't know, because who said it? I guess was it 20 years ago that the first text message was sent? I don't know, but
late 90s, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And that's today. It's text message is old-fashioned. Yeah. New attackers, as I said. P2P lending, account management tools, robotic advisory models, new credit score models, completely online banks, yeah? And of course, incumbents pursuing digital transformation, yeah? Everybody like us, we have to cut the costs. That's the prerequisite to earn money. we have to run automation, we have to be compliant to regulations, and the income challenges. Yeah? That's really a challenge. And if you look, consumer behavior is changing. Yeah? We made such a survey that 59% of the customers who starting mobile, a product inquiry, just to have a look, continue later on the computer. 34 start on the computer, continue then 30% on the mobile phone. And what you can see here, tablet, for example, tablet is dead. Nobody is using we introduced years ago an app for tablets, for iPad. Nobody's using it. Nobody. But that's a learning curve, yeah? Yeah, what are we doing? You have to think about the application architecture. You have to think about your infrastructure, data infrastructure, the way of working, collaboration, and let's say the cooperation with tech startup partnerships. If you look application architecture, what we are doing, up to 2000, we had monolithic, but we still have monolithic applications like big servers, mainframes, and core banking systems, and so on. That's not so bad, yeah? But it's not easy to change something. You are totally inflexible. And what we are doing now, we are creating, and we are really, I guess we are 50% on the way. We are creating microservices, very small microservices, endpoints, where where all applications, even public APIs, can have access to this. And the magic is, I don't have to change a lot in the main application. That's a way, and that's the prerequisite to have DevOps, to have automatic testing, and all this stuff. To be honest, I'm not a technician, but just you have a short view what we are doing in development. We are using Spring, Netflix, the whole Netflix suite, Hibernate, deployment, Jenkins, Nexus, Docker, Sonar, OpenShift to run. Our goal is, and that's what the CIO of Walmart said, we want to be not forced to think about it if I can deploy something. That must be the goal. Yeah? It's ridiculous in 2018 to develop a product and then you will get it 1 year later. That's ridiculous, yeah? That's unacceptable. Yeah, continuous delivery, continuous deployment. Deploy code to any zone, automatically increase code coverage in testing, everything. We need, at the end of the day, if you look at this of a waterfall cycle, yeah, the implementation period is the smallest, the coding. Yeah? You have the business requirements and the testing. Yeah? And the coding, that's not much. And that's very important, yeah? And therefore it's very important also to change the collaboration model, yeah? Because at the moment, we try, I will come later to this, at the moment you write as a business, you write your business requirements, and you throw it over the wall, in best case, and then somebody is programming somebody is programming something, and then in the user acceptance test, you realize, oh, shitty. That wasn't what I wanted to have. We are now creating a new e-banking. From one overnight, everybody had to sit in the same room. Business, risk, IT, marketing, everybody. Well, 25 people. Guess what the productivity increase was, just with this measure? 30%. Just the people sitting there and talking to each other. That's not magic, because afterwards it's clear. Yeah? Big data use cases. Of course, we have data lake, we have analytical data lake, and we have with real-time use cases. We started with transaction cache. Why? To save money for the CPU and our mainframe. That was the start. But we also do fraud detection, real-time notification. I always bring, I don't know if somebody, but it's for me, it's always a good example to tell. If you go to an ATM and withdraw money, before you receive before you get the money, it gets beep, and you see you withdraw 100 euros. That's real time, yeah, and that everybody likes, yeah. And that's or a credit card. If you pay with credit card and ding ding, and you know it, yeah, and that's for safety reasons, but it's also for you that you are sure. Oh, okay, it's done, yeah. Technological group will be organized in an agile way. I would not say technological group. I would say the whole organization has to do this. Yeah, that's the monolithic silos, top-down hierarchy. Here, everybody works together. Organization is organic systems. Yeah, and at the end of the day, me as a CIO, I will vanish as a function. You need to be a catalyst, yeah? You need to be a motivator, you need to be a moderator. You need to convince the people and to bring the people in a situation that they can deliver. That's important, not to have a title or something else, yeah? Because at the end of the day, we are sitting in the same boat, yeah? Everybody. And that's very important. And that needs a lot of discipline. I've seen it in the ING in the Netherlands. I guess it was a 5-year project, and they're still struggling. Yeah, because we discussed it before. Everybody's used to do this and then to control this management cycle. Yeah, have ideas, implement, control, celebrate, but at the end of the day, you will not win the future, because we are fighting against big jumbos in the world. Just here, it's a description. It's a squad, business customer team, where we all sit together. Then tribe is more or less a number of squads in the same business area, same direction. And then chapter, that's the chapter 1, COBOL programming or Java programming or teaching everybody and so on. Yeah. But I guess it's clear that it will work better. But to implement this and to live this, that's really a challenge. We are starting it now. So
how far have you experimented already with these holacracy concepts?
Not really. We have two small, not small, but we have two projects where we are doing like this.
All right.
It's our new mobile banking. Yeah, it's a project Lucy. And we have won a tender with one of the largest consumer electronic retailer in Austria to do the loans, and that's also an agile project cross companies. But we are learning, and you know that the learning curve is very steep, and it's on a daily basis you're learning, yeah, because we are not used to it. We are not used to it, yeah. Because the main challenge is that you have a product owner who is empowered to decide something. Yeah, you cannot go to the boss and the boss from the boss to the boss, and then you can do waterfall, because it's the same time. Yeah, and you need at the end of the day you need an enterprise backlog. You need a prioritization across the board. Yeah, and that's the challenge. That's the challenge. What's more important, a risk project, this project, this project, this project? It sounds so easy, but the devil is in the detail, like everywhere. in the agile world, we focus on delivering MVPs, minimum viable project. Why? I guess at the end of the day, and it's a funny wording, but fail fast. What I mentioned before, that I realized that I had a shitty product after 8 months. If I do it in a sprint, after 2 weeks, that's the difference. That will make the difference. Fail fast, that's very important. Yeah? We always in our education, in our culture, don't make mistakes, and that's stupid. Because at the end of the day, if you make failures, if you fail fast, then you can change something. Please.
Isn't the relationship between humans and banks a very trustful one? So if you would provide me an app, for example, which is shitty, even after a 2-month deployment cycle or whatever, I would maybe quit my account.
Yeah, but we will not provide it to you.
But just for testing purpose.
Yeah, it's friendly user test, or yeah. But for example, you can, I don't know, but what we are doing now is you are right, but it's very, that's also a challenge. What is the minimum viable product? One is clear. It must work. It must be secure. All the prerequisites must be done, yeah? But we are always discussing it. Because if you can log in and that's it, that's not the, you maybe will be fine, that's great, but that's really the question. What is it? And we of course you have a parallel maintenance, yeah? But even if you would not deploy it, you know that this feature is running. I can even do agile development and not deploy. And wait that the MVP is a bigger one, yeah? But usually you should, and you can do A/B testing to say, okay, how do the customer react of this, and the customer have this. That's a variety on options we have, yeah? But you're right, that's critical. What's MVP? It sounds so good. And you can see it. You can see on the button. That's plain vanilla. Nobody will talk about this. If I tell you, wow, we have a current account, you say, okay, I have a current account since I'm in the kindergarten. Yeah, that's not authorization as a notifications. Yeah, that's plain vanilla. Yeah, but then security, smart payment, good advice, simple sales. Customer inclusion, to really be with the customer, understand the customer. That's very important. I'm always, I'm not using the ÖBB very often, yeah. Not because I hate ÖBB, but because I have with public transport, it's not so easy to come to my office, yeah. But if you use this automate for the tickets, that's horrible, a horrible customer experience. Yeah? And let's say I'm average stupid, yeah, but if I need a second zone, I always fail.
And even the website is not responsive for smartphone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. You cannot find a path.
Or you start in Wien Westbahnhof or now in Wien Hauptbahnhof and drive to Salzburg and the wireless is 20 times broken. Yeah. That's not a customer experience, yeah. And the Westbahn did it from the very beginning and it worked. That makes a difference, yeah. And that's very important because we are acting the same. What I'm discussing here now with you, is the same how you are acting and reacting, doing something, or assess companies, or decide why you use a product by this company or by this company. That's also easy onboarding. If you put in the data as a prospect in the e-banking, and then you can do it once again, if you decide you will not accept it, yeah? Because if you go to Amazon, it's so easy. It's so easy. Of course, the bank has to be more secure, but you can do it so easy, yeah? And but it's not so easy because of all the legacy things, yeah? And also the legacy here. That's also a restriction, yeah?
Do you actually pay attention to the demographics of your customers then? So do you differentiate
Yeah.
age groups?
Yeah. That's for example, that's also important for looking where we would want to have branches. Yeah. And you know, we have cancelled now the contract with the Post, and we have now 480, and we'll have next year 100 branches. Yeah. And that's very important to know where you are and where your customers are. Yeah.
I'm on Facebook for it.
Yeah.
You can find me.
Kind of difficult, like if you now focus on an online product, that so many different fintechs, like for instance, as you mentioned previously, N26, they actually also have a usual business model, and in the internet it's usually like winner takes it all.
Mm-hmm.
So might be some more global players falls in the same market. So in some features that actually differentiates BAWAG from the other companies.
I guess there's one differentiation still. If you look at N26, yeah, who has an account with N26? Okay, there is not the full range of products. You can, even if you do foreign transfers, you cannot do everything. Yeah, if you use the ATM more often, you will be asked to I guess the 100,000 customers they close their accounts, not the customers but the bank. Yeah, because of the costs, because they were not profitable. Yeah, and they don't offer. Do they offer everything?
No, just
yeah.
Accounts management.
Yeah.
But to be honest,
but
that's
it's
actually your approach, because they find out what are the people looking for.
Yeah, sure.
So what is the highest demand, and then
Yeah.
they build it in
Yeah,
a very short cycle.
but that's the same with Tesla, with everything. What they are doing, they are spending a hell of money to grow and to create market shares. Let's discuss. I don't know. 10 years time. Yeah, but the differentiation is local. And if you look at payments, because everybody says payments will be all the Apple Pay or everything is credit card. At the end of the day, it's credit card. Yeah.
For that reason, don't you think that is the most valuable to approach is actually then the young ones that are still not decided what to do? Because in my opinion, it's quite unlikely if you have once, a leasing contract or some credit or some loan for a massive car somewhere. It's very unlikely, in my opinion, to switch to another bank, because simply for simplicity, to change the contract in other parts, you will never move again.
Yeah, that's right, and that's also our experience. Because if the current account, the check account is the let's say the anchor product. Mm-hmm. If you have the check account, of course now there is the Kontowechsel service in place, but you don't do it. You're right, yeah, because it's still not easy, yeah. And yeah, you're right, but that's very important. That's why I said we have to own the customer, yeah, independently what happens behind, yeah. Because we cannot do everything. For example, we are working now on a fully automated loan, but of course consumer loan. But of course there are so many legal requirements. For example, the video legitimation. Yeah, you have to find people who wants to have the video legitimation. Yeah? Somebody said, I don't want to sit in my living room and using my cell phone and everybody seeing what I'm wearing or whatever, yeah? That's the first. The second would be you could do it with handy signature. Yeah? But handy signature, I don't know, 0.5% of the inhabitants of Austria using it. I use it because it's really good for if you go to the Sozialversicherungs homepage or something else, it's really good. You can do a lot of things, yeah? But it's very complicated, yeah? If you change your phone number, your mobile phone number, But you have to go to a Gemeindeamt or to the town hall. Yeah, that's not really convenient. Yeah.
Of course, the POS is changing a lot due to society or whatever. But that's exactly what you mentioned with the omni-channel.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah, that's exactly what the customer experience should be the same, independently which channel he's using. Then we are far away, all banks, yeah? We're far away, yeah? That's, for example, that you're starting something as a product process in a mobile phone, and you're going to the branch, and they have to see what you've done, yeah? With the new e-banking, we will have it, yeah? But now, you can tell that the same story. That's like if you are if you're in a call center, yeah, and you please press 3, 4, 5, 6, Well, I've never seen a call center where it was differently. Yeah, and last but not least, the fintech collaboration across 6 dimensions. Analytics and predictive. You can do a lot of analytic stuff. It's not necessarily done by yourself. Yeah, you can use different vendors, and a lot of vendors are focused. Multi-banking means customer 360 financial overview, all that stuff. PSD2 related use cases. For example, what we are doing, we are using an AISP, means that if somebody is applying for a loan in online, then we have to check he's healthy. Can he afford the credit? Can he pay it back? And so on. And what we are doing now, we're engaging a fintech who is grabbing all the data of the account of the customer, of course, if the customer accepts it, and then we can see exactly what's the salary, what are the expenses, how many does he pay for the electronic for the provider for electricity and so on. Yeah, that's very secure for us. Yeah, and that's you will never ever do it by yourself. Why? There is a public API. You have the interfaces via the microservice architecture with the end-to-end points. Let's do it. Security, for example, biometric identification, all that stuff. That you can buy it, yeah. And it's also not. That's not at the end of the day. That's a commodity. To check all the transactions of a card. That's a commodity. You win about the customer experience and how risky you are. That's automation of product opening and servicing processes. That's also automation, robotics. Yeah, we are thinking about it. That's robotics is very good, but of course, you only have a business case if you have a high number of repetitive processes that are the same. Yeah, if you have 20 pieces, that doesn't work. But if you have 20,000 pieces, then it's at the end of the day, it's not a rocket science, yeah? Because you script at the end of the day what the human being is doing, yeah? You're doing the same. You have access to an application. You put in the data. That's the same. But in parallel, 1,000 robotics can do it, yeah? Robots. Innovative customer features and services, integration of on and offline channels. Yeah, that's for example, that's also the same. You have mobile, you have your PC. You go to self-service, everything looks different. What we are now doing, we have for our project for mobile phones, mobile banking. We bought a software. It's back-based. It's a Netherlands-based company, and we will use this platform for mobile banking, e-banking for tablet, and also for self-service. That means there will be the same customer experience than before, and technical supported. You can, of course, you can do the same, but that's really the same code, yeah? Of responsive, and you don't have to care if it's Android, if it's iOS. That's the magic behind it.
Sorry, is it an outsourced solution or is it a white label solution you purchased?
That we bought it. That's insights, because maybe it's a good question. Thank you. You remind me that I forgot something. Our strategy is we have to have the know-how of products, of our core systems. We have to have in-house. What does it mean? For example, we don't have even a data center. We don't have it. Why? Because it's not our core business. I cannot create a 3+ tier data center. I'm not able to do it. Yeah? There are companies, that's their core business. They can do it better. By sure, they can do it better. And I can only be the second one. And the same here. If I have this AISP, why should I do it? I buy it and put it in. But my loan product, my security account, my current account, that should be done by me, and I should know everything. And the customer. That's big data.
In that case, you're talking about front office products or solutions, but if you talk about back office digital fraud prevention or anti-money laundering prevention, it's maybe not core business, but extremely relevant for a bank. Would you say that those solutions should also be outsourced or developed in-house? So let's say you take artificial intelligence and say you want to improve your anti-money laundering compliance by implementing a software like that.
Yeah.
It's not core business, but it's still very important for the bank, so legally obliged to do so.
Yeah.
And fines are very heavy once you get caught.
Good question. We have, for example, in all this anti-money laundering, so we bought a solution, but own it by ourselves and run it. But if you go, sorry?
So a tailor-made solution.
Yeah. Now, for example, you have of course a lot of vendors who are selling this, yeah. But in that we are buying, yeah. But we don't outsource it, because you're right. That's very important for us. But for example, if you go, and that's also the second point for us, cloud first. We want to do everything in the cloud, what's possible. Why? Because then you can really use by pay. And we discussed it before. For example, our analytical data lake, yeah? That's not used 24 hours, 7 days, 365, 7 days a week. It's used sometimes 1 hour. If I would have it on premise, I have the costs for the whole day. If I use it in the cloud, I pay 10 minutes, 1 hour, and then I shut it down. And I know the regulators. We have a lot of discussions with regulators on this. I always say, what's cloud? That's also a good discussion. If I do outsourcing of my mainframe, is it a cloud? Sure. At the end of the day, it's not in my. It's a private cloud, yeah. But we are using, for example, for our Outlook messaging, we're using Azure Cloud. That works great, and that's the future, because then you can really. Sorry?
Is it still allowed on an American server, Azure Cloud?
Yeah, of course there are legal restrictions, but the legal restrictions only say that you have to have the data in Europe. The provider has to you have to sign it. That is in rule. For example, ours is in Dublin and Frankfurt as a backup. Yeah. But discussed before, and if you would, I'm quite sure if I would have a server in Romania, the FMR would not allow it. Even it must be allowed because it's European Union, yeah? But they are not happy about that, but I guess that's a misunderstanding what cloud is. Because if you say, instead of cloud, you can also say software as a service. Or platform as a service, yeah?
Yeah, that's funny, because the internet has no borders.
Yeah. But cloud, yeah, that's so dangerous, yeah? Yep. Now the questions can start.
Right, can I hook you up onto the microphone when you want to say something? So
Lady,
who is first?
Lady here.
You were talking a lot about digitalization and
does it work?
I think it does. I can hear it. So you were talking a lot about digitalization and winning new customers, and that younger people are going using more banking. But I think neither BAWAG nor any other Austrian bank is talking or thinking about mobile payments like Apple Pay, or I don't know, Samsung has something as well probably. Mm-hmm. I think this is such a miss on the market, and why do you not consider it?
Yeah, of course, it's a good question. Of course, we are discussing it. The challenge here is that you know we have a regulation in the EU. The ECB wants to force us that we implement instant payment across Europe. Yeah. But that's not so easy because then everybody has to do it. For example, do you know Zoin in Austria? Yeah. That's, for example, it's a bullshit. That's a bullshit application, yeah. Because I'm happy that you know it, and I see that you're experts, yeah. But for example, why does Apple Pay work? Because it's one company across the world. If you start in Austria with this Zoin, you can do it only with the banks, of course, who are participating. And with the European Union, everybody is doing his own, and therefore it doesn't work. Yeah. But we are implementing instant payment. Yeah? Even maybe I'm too old for this, but even I don't see any sense behind this, because what is the added value? But I'm a little bit senior for that. What's the added value that we are discussing with a lot of students? What's the added value that I see the money immediately?
I have lots of friends from other countries, and for example, the fact that I don't have to carry my wallet with me, I can just pay with my phone or with my it's great. I just I'm really happy to have it.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's one of the disadvantages of the regulations within the European Union, yeah, because every country has to do it. Because otherwise, for example, we have Zoin now in Austria. You can only use it if we are participating. In our case, it's called Smart Pay, but nobody knows it, yeah. Nobody knows it, yeah. But that's a good point. That's a good point.
Right, please show me your hands and I can get you into the list.
Do you offer things like, for instance, instant money beaming? For instance, because sometimes it takes some time until money actually reaches another account. I know it's difficult because, of course, there are many banks, different banks, and it's difficult from one banking app to transfer money to another. But at least, for instance, like N26 offers the opportunity, if you have one BAWAG account, N26 account to another N26 account, you can beam money within 1 or 2 seconds, and it's already there.
That's a good. If you have a BAWAG account, and you transfer it to a BAWAG account, you have it in milliseconds. Okay. That's the same, yeah. But the problem is if you transfer the money to Bank Austria or to Erste, then the tzaddik says you have next day it must be booked. Yeah? But within our bank we have the same than N26 because we are real-time online. If you go to ATM, withdraw 100 euros, it's already in your statement. If you look at this, yeah. With a hint. You wanted to avoid the walk, huh?
So you talked about solutions for small, medium businesses. So obviously your core business is here in Austria, but many other countries, Eastern Europe, whatever. So I was in India, and there you can pay, for example, everything with a QR code. So every business has a QR code, and then you just scan the code.
Yeah.
And you have an app, and then everything is paid with that. So have you thought about solutions like that?
We have it since 3 years of our mobile app. You can, if you, I used it last time as I was in the Kurzparkzone and forgot to pay, and you make a picture and it's done. I can show it to you afterwards. Yeah. That's yeah.
But does every small business support it, or just a limited amount of business?
We are trying to convince all our customers, small and medium enterprises. The big corporates are doing it, because at the end of the day, it's a win-win situation, because we have less work and they have less costs. Yeah, but that's a really good point where we can do it. Yeah.
Do you consider blockchain technology in your strategy, and do you feel it takes your business model?
At the moment, not really. And what we are doing is blockchain is a really good architecture, but it's for smart contracts. If you, for example, it's very security business, for example, yeah, shares or then because then you will transfer this between banks and so on, and then everybody knows that's done, yeah, and you have the confirmation and everything. We are in the retail business. We are really thinking, and everybody is also my boss is also saying, why don't we do something about blockchain? At the end of the day. At the moment, I don't see a use case for us. Yeah, maybe you have an idea.
You can talk about this later.
Yeah, but you can. He has my. Oh, you can. You know my Wolfgang.Hanzl@BAWAG.com. No, but that's really expensive to settle it up by yourself. Yeah. And by the way, you asked, we have in Germany we bought a bank last year, the Südwest Bank. And the Bausparkasse as a building society also, but we are expanding. Yeah? But to be honest, the majority business, retail business, is not a cross-border business. Yeah, it's not a cross-border business. And we don't have that's the point, because also if you look at Erste Bank, UniCredit, not now because they don't have any longer the eastern countries, but if you look at Erste Bank, they have to have, because of cost reduction, you have to think about this, yeah, because they have 100,000 of customers in Czech Republic, 100,000 in Slovenia, and so on, yeah. It's a totally different perspective, yeah.
I also have a question. So you emphasized two things. So you talked about the customer experience and how important that is. Secondly, you emphasized you have to be at the edge of being a cost leader. And that got me a little bit thinking, so how exciting can a banking experience be as a customer experience if you're actually dealing about a commodity and you're trying to actually reduce and minimize the costs around this. So if you let your, let's say, imagination flow a bit, so how could an exciting bank look in 2025?
That's a good point. I guess that's not a contradiction to be cost efficient and offer good customer experience. You can see it. You can see it. Uber. Uber is the best example. I'm always surprised. I cannot imagine that there is a business case behind it, because I'm living in Mödling, and if you go with taxi, you will pay 40 from here. Will pay 40, 50 euros, and with Uber you pay 22 euros. Yeah, but but at the end of the day, they have to save money, they have to cut costs, and they offer a good product. That's not a contradiction, yeah. And I guess to have, that's always good. And if you have a budget and you have a budget, your pocket money or whatever you have, it's always good that there is a restriction, because then you have to think about it. What you have to prioritize, and you have to do the best thing out of the money you have. Yeah, if you have a lot of money, for example, I heard, and it's not. I'm not bashing competitors. Yeah, but if you look, for example, the announced numbers from a competitor of us with the e-banking platform with a male Christian name. He spent 100 million euros for implementation and 40 million so far for marketing. As you can say now, okay, that's a platform for Eastern Europe as well, yeah. But that's, I guess the people are more creative if they don't have too much money.
Welcome to the university.
So with regard to the money parts and the investment parts, I have a question. So I once heard that, I think it was Unica, that they have, what, 1 billion or 30% of the entire thing that they invest into future technologies. And with regard to, then you mentioned it was Erste with George. They spend a lot of money for it. Do you think that cost cutting will, compared to your competitors, then do the job, or do you think it has to be a huge investment? And also, how much do you then invest for the future project?
That's a very good question, because there's obviously a misunderstanding. Cost cutting does not mean that we don't invest. We announced that we have 100 million euros to invest in startups, fintechs. But only in fintechs where we think that makes sense, yeah? And the more efficient I am, the more I can invest, yeah? And we are looking, we will, and by the way, the last 3 years we had the highest IT investment since our foundation, yeah? That's not a contradiction. I guess that enables investments, yeah? You're not satisfied with this answer?
I kind of was hoping for a percentage of the budget or something, like 30% of the previous thing. Yes, nice and good, but kind of, if you have like the slogan on your slide is technology transformation, so I kind of assume that a massive amount of your revenues, of your yearly revenues, kind of flow back into actually transforming them the bank. So that's why I was hoping for some form of.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, and in this case, at the very beginning I said we're an Austrian bank, the one and only Austrian bank in Austria. But now I have to say we are the typical American company, because at the end of the day, everything has to have a business case. But it's the same for UniCredit. It's owned in Italy, and therefore we have, for example, if we would all this stuff we are doing now with containerization and Docker technology and all this, yeah, that's great. But why we are doing it? Because time to market, more efficient, and at the end of the day, it brings money. Nobody can run a business without generate money. Yeah? And that's the magic, and that what I really like is to do some really interesting stuff like this DevOps, yeah, continuous implementation, continuous deployment, and really having a business case. That's the best experience you can have. Because we have to do a lot of regulatory stuff, there is not really a business case, yeah.
So here's another question here, and I have you on the list.
Do you have still people working for the BAWAG, or is this all? Sorry. Do you still have people working for BAWAG, or do you have all automated already? My question is to the organizational change. I mean, there's a lot of change going on.
Yeah.
A lot of new technology. The people in the branch, they have to use this new, or they have to get accustomed to that they are maybe not important anymore. Maybe they don't be available or needed more in the future. Maybe that's their fear. How is this going, this change?
Yeah. Employees are the most important. Yeah? We need more people, and with the right attitude. We made the experience. We are doing now a journey over 7 years. Everybody knows 7 years ago it was really a problem with BAWAG PSK, and we were closed. There were banking ran and so on. And we went all through these stages, yeah? But at the end of the day, now we are in a situation that we are extremely attractive for new talents. For example, we are hiring people from Stanford, from Harvard, from the Technical University in Switzerland. Yeah? They are coming to us. Why? Because we have interesting projects. Yeah? And to be honest, this journey was not easy. We have, if you look in my position at the second level, I guess there are 80% new people. And that's going down and down and down, yeah? And if you change, and that's also, if you look back 10, 15 years, and it's not only BAWAG PSK, the majority of because you mentioned branch, the majority of the branch people were administrators. And now the role is selling. Advising, but at the end of the day, you only can live if you sell something. If you only advise, you will get a problem on the long run. Yeah? And that's a total different picture. And there are a lot of people who cannot do it. And that's the dramatic change in our world. Yeah? Because have the right customer interface. Customer first, you need customer-oriented people, and not people who are running away when, like in a Bauhaus, when you need something who is running away. Yeah? And that's very important, and that's really a tough change. Yeah? That's a tough change, but it's necessary, I guess. Yeah.
Roman.
As you have mentioned previously, you are going into more agile development methods. Did you already, I know you talked about a steep learning curve and a lot of transformation into this direction. First question is, do you already see some benefits over using traditional methods? And the second, are you going into the entire organization to change it to more agile approaches or to more products which are directly placed in the marketplace and like the back office for administrative tasks, for instance, like a credit scoring application, which nobody sees in the marketplace, is more like also remains in the traditional approach, or do you transform all?
Our goal is to start in the technological group, to go agile with everything. There are a lot of limitations so far, like core banking system, mainframe, COBOL programming. That's one. But we will go in this direction. But at the end of the day, if you think it through, that means you have to get rid of the core banking system and have something like N26 or something else. Yeah? That's a huge effort. But that will be the goal at the end of the day. Not today, not tomorrow, but that will be the final solution. Yeah? What's very important is we have to think about it, if it's really necessary, to have all functions in IT. That's also, we are thinking about, that's agile and centralized approach is a contradiction. Yeah? And therefore we have to think to empower more people and also maybe coders in the business. I don't know, but that's some thoughts we have, because just to do agile in sitting together and doing MVPs, that's too less beef in it, yeah. But yet we are starting the journey now. Maybe in 2 years' time I can come back and tell you in which stage we are. But yeah, that's our goal, yeah. But you know, that's really it's a significant change. It's on top of all our changes. That's the next. But without this, we will not survive. Because if you look at all these things at Amazon, that's a really advantage what they have, a big advantage. Yeah. I guess I read they have in ops they have 2 or 3 people, but they have millions of servers. Yeah, yeah, I guess, yeah, that's unbelievable. Yeah?
But that's also a bit of workload for the individual people.
Yeah.
And also a lot of things can go wrong if you have this agile approach, because they might imply that you have more often releases of the products, and sometimes you cannot test the entire product like it really performs in the marketplace up front. Yeah. So we have the problem again, which you previously mentioned, that sometimes if the product often crashes, then the people might not even use it.
Yeah, but what I also answered to him, MVP does not mean trash. MVP means totally tested, yeah, but not all functions. Yeah? And for example, if you and that, what is it? Fast to fail. Yeah, because I think that it's in waterfall you fail. It is slow to fail. Yeah, 1 year. Here you fail after 2 weeks, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we will deploy everything. Yeah, or give to the customer. Yeah? But it's a challenge. Yeah, that's a challenge, and that we will learn a lot, and we will fail a lot.
So I'm coming to you, but maybe on the way. One question. So I want to follow up on this Scrum question. There's one thing where I see like many companies moving over to a more agile approach. They move well, and then they suffer from their own internal complexity, and that actually kills them. So do you have, since you've been very long with BAWAG, can you actually sketch some trends, or do you have some measures in how far the complexity has developed?
Yeah, that's, to be honest, that's one of the main reasons why agile development or agile organizations fail is the complexity. Because at the end of the day, if you would imagine you have, I don't know, 20, 30 squads in parallel, everybody will deploy something. You have to organize it. You have to inform the customer. You have to. That's not done with sitting together and have fun. Yeah, but that's really. But then you need a scrum for all other scrums, and that's highly complex. Yeah, but we are not so far, and therefore I don't have experience. But I have the experience from others that it's very, very complex. And you need agile doesn't mean no discipline. I guess in agile you need to have more discipline than in waterfall, and you have to have mature people, yeah. And that's really, and it was not, as I said, you don't need bosses. Then you need people who want to decide. You need people who want to implement. You need a catalyst to do something, and the company has to be empowered. That's the main thing, but it's highly risky, I know.
Here was another question.
I can imagine plenty of great ideas are brought to you every day by anybody. So how your organization does prioritize and rank those ideas? Do you have specific meetings or models?
Basically, you have to differentiate. We differentiate in small changes. Small changes, each resort means each board member area has a budget, and within the budget they are prioritizing. We're doing it. That's the one. I guess that's 2 million for a year, and that's done. Projects at the moment, there need to be a business case, and we have a board committee. It's an investment committee called, and there the business cases will be checked, and then the prioritization will be done. But it's all, of course, there are regulatory projects. You have the challenge is that everybody says that's a regulatory project, and you have to figure out what's really regulatory stuff and what's not regulatory stuff. Yeah, that's the challenge also. Yeah, and that's also a high complex. That's not so easy. Yeah, because you have here and to say, I will generate 5 million revenues. Yeah, so what? But do you know it? That it will really be delivered? But you have the costs, and it's always about the costs, yeah? Because if you start a project, if it costs 2 million, you know what you have to book out, yeah? If it fails, yeah? But at the end of the day, it's a prioritization based on business case.
All right, I think prioritization based on a business case would be a good closing word. If there's anybody who has still a question, please show me your hand. Then I can still have you on the microphone. And if that is not the case, I think this was already actually indeed a good closing word. I would still actually invite Martino to come up front, and there's a little present for you. And in the meantime, we thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. It was real nice.